Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful souls, today I want to talk to you about Chanjano, the kind that storms in with noise and grandeur, but the kind that arrives quietly like a sunrise. Gratitude is not just a word, it is a way of life, a shift in perspective that transforms how we see the world and how we carry ourselves through it. When we begin our day with gratitude, we awaken not just our bodies, but our spirits. The first breath we take each morning is a quiet miracle, yet how often do we pause to recognize it? We are so quick to jump into tasks, to check our phones, to worry about everything we must do. But before all of that, there is a moment of stillness, a sacred pause. In that space lies the opportunity to begin with thankfulness. It doesn't take much. You don't need to write essays or recite long prayers. Just a simple thank you whispered into the silence is enough. Thank you for my eyes that open. Thank you for the heart that beats. Thank you for the chance to try again. When we train ourselves to notice the small things, the gentle breeze through the window, the warmth of a blanket, the taste of clean water, we begin to realize that life is already giving us gifts. We just forgot how to unwrap them. Starting your day with gratitude doesn't mean your life is perfect. It doesn't mean your struggles disappear or that pain vanishes, but it does mean you choose to see beyond the chaos. You choose to focus not only on what's lacking, but on what's present. And that simple shift in focus is powerful. It is like adjusting the lens of a camera. The scene is the same, but now suddenly it's in clearer view. Gratitude brings clarity. It brings peace. There is beauty in this practice. It teaches us humility. It reminds us that we are not entitled to anything, yet so much has been entrusted to us. Our bodies, our relationships, even our trials, they all hold value. When you begin with gratitude, you are telling the universe that you are ready to receive more, not because you demand it, but because you honor what already is. And when we honor the now, we create space for more goodness to flow in. People often chase happiness as if it's somewhere far away, hidden behind the next achievement or possession. But gratitude roots us in the present moment. It says, I have enough. And from that place of enoughness, we find joy. We find strength. Gratitude doesn't silence the storms. It simply helps us build shelter within them. It helps us stay grounded when everything else feels uncertain. This habit, practiced daily for 21 days, starts to shift your inner world. At first, it might feel awkward. You might forget. You might wake up rushed or tired. That's okay. The beauty of gratitude is that it's always available. It waits for you. Whether spoken aloud or held in silence, it waits. And every time you choose it, no matter how small the gesture, you are training your mind to see the light, even in darkness. You can begin by writing 3 things down each morning, or just placing your hand over your heart and breathing deeply. You might thank your body for carrying you. You might thank a friend in your thoughts. You might simply thank the day for arriving. The method doesn't matter, the sincerity does. Gratitude is not performance. It is presence. And presence is the truest form of power. The way you speak to yourself becomes the foundation of how you live your life. The words you whisper in your own mind shape your beliefs, your confidence, your identity. And yet, for so many of us, the internal dialogue is not gentle. It is harsh, unforgiving, and often cruel. We say things to ourselves that we would never say to someone we love. We criticize, we compare, we diminish. And over time, those words settle in our hearts like stones, weighing us down, making us forget our worth. But imagine for a moment if you changed the way you spoke to yourself. Imagine if instead of judgment, you offered understanding. Instead of shame, you offered compassion. Your relationship with yourself is the longest one you'll ever have. It deserves kindness. You deserve kindness. When you speak gently to yourself, you begin to create a safe space within, a place where healing can begin, where confidence can grow, where joy can be rediscovered. This habit may seem small, but it holds incredible power. Every morning, as you look into the mirror, you have a choice. You can focus on your flaws, or you can speak words that affirm your worth. You can choose to say, I'm enough, even if you don't fully believe it yet. You can say, I am learning, instead of, I'm failing. You can say, I am growing, instead of, I'm not good enough. These small changes in language reshape your inner landscape. They remind you that you are a work in progress, not a problem to be fixed. The voice in your head becomes your constant companion. If that voice is filled with criticism, it becomes exhausting to move through the world. But if that voice offers encouragement, even in moments of struggle, it becomes a source of strength. You become your own ally, your own support system. And in a world that often tries to tear you down, being kind to yourself becomes a revolutionary act. This isn't about arrogance. It's about self-respect. It's about recognizing that you are human, and being human means being imperfect. It means making mistakes, facing fears, falling and rising again. And through it all, you deserve your own patience. You deserve to be reminded that even on your worst days, you are still worthy of love, especially from yourself. You can begin this habit in the quiet moments when you wake up, when you brush your teeth, when you're alone with your thoughts. Notice the tone of your inner voice. Is it rushed? Is it sharp? Gently redirect it. Replace, I should have done better, with, I did my best today. Replace, I'm not as good as them, with, I am walking my own path. These shifts may feel uncomfortable at first. That's normal. Most of us have spent years rehearsing self-criticism. It takes time to unlearn that script. But every time you speak kindly to yourself, you are writing a new one. Affirmations can help. So can journaling. So can simply pausing before you judge yourself and asking, would I say this to a friend? And if not, then why say it to yourself? The world may not always be kind, but you can be. You can build a sanctuary inside your own Harta place where you are accepted, celebrated, and safe. Because when you learn to speak kindly to yourself, everything changes. Not just how you feel inside, but how you move through life, how you relate to others, how you show up for your dreams. The body is a sacred vessel carrying us through every moment of our lives, holding our experiences, our emotions, our memories. Yet so often, we treat it as a burden or an object to be fixed. We criticize it for not looking a certain way, for aging, for being tired, for feeling pain. We forget that our body is not separate from who we are, is a living, breathing part of our story. When we learn to move our bodies gently, with love and awareness, we begin to reconnect with ourselves in a way that is both healing and empowering. Movement is not about punishment. It is not a way to shrink ourselves or to chase some ideal. It is a form of self-respect, a way to say, I care about you, to the body that has carried you through everything. Whether it is a slow stretch in the morning, a walk in the evening light, or a moment of stillness where you breathe deeply and feel your chest rise and fall, every act of mindful movement is an act of coming home to yourself. You don't need a gym or a routine or a perfect plan. You only need a willingness to listen to your body's needs and to respond with care. When you move with gentleness, You begin to notice things you may have missed. The way your shoulders relax when you take a breath, the strength in your legs as they carry you, the quiet rhythm of your heartbeat reminding you that you are alive. These are not small things. They are miracles that unfold with every movement. And when you approach your body with curiosity instead of criticism, you create space for joy to enter. Movement becomes not something you have to do, but something you get to do. In a world that often ties worth to appearance, choosing to move your body without chasing perfection is a radical act. It is a way of reclaiming your body as your own, of honoring it, not for how it looks, but for all that it does. You start to move, not because you hate your body, but because you love it, because you want it to feel strong, supported, and cared for. That love changes everything. It softens the edges of self-doubt and replaces them with a quiet confidence that grows from within. There will be days when you feel tired, when your body feels heavy, when movement feels like a chore. On those days, listen even more closely. Ask your body what it needs. Maybe it's rest. Maybe it's a stretch. Maybe it's just a few minutes of breathing deeply with your eyes closed. Whatever it is, let it be enough. Your body is not a machine to be pushed. It is a living being that needs compassion and patience. Gentle movement also connects us to the present. It anchors us in the now, away from the regrets of yesterday or the worries of tomorrow. When you walk and feel your feet on the ground, when you raise your arms and notice the space they occupy, you remind yourself that you are here, now, alive. This awareness can become a form of meditation, a quiet moment of connection between mind, body, and soul. As you commit to this habit over time, your relationship with your body begins to shift. It becomes less about control and more about partnership. You start to trust your body, and in turn, it begins to trust you. There is a harmony that grows, a rhythm that is unique to you. This rhythm does not need to match anyone else's. It is yours, and it is sacred. Nourishment is not just about the food we eat, it is about everything we consume, everything we allow into our bodies, minds, and hearts. We often think of nourishment as something physical, something on a plate, but true nourishment begins with intention. It is the way we choose what to feed ourselves with, not only through our meals, but through our thoughts, conversations, habits, and environments. When we nourish with purpose, we become more than just functional. We become vibrant, energized, and aligned with our inner truth. Food is one of the most intimate forms of nourishment. It becomes part of us, shaping our energy, our mood, our health, and yet so often we eat on autopilot. We eat while scrolling, while rushing, while distracted. We choose what is convenient instead of what is kind. Nourishing with purpose means asking, what does my body truly need right now? It means tuning into signals of hunger and fullness, listening not just to cravings, but to what will truly sustain us. It is not about restriction or guilt, it is about respect. Respecting the body enough to give it what fuels it best. But nourishment doesn't stop at the physical. The mind needs nourishment too. What we watch, read, listen to, these things shape our thoughts and beliefs. When we constantly absorb negativity, comparison, or fear, it starts to affect the way we see ourselves in the world. Choosing to nourish your mind with uplifting, thoughtful, and empowering content is a quiet form of self-care. It means being mindful of the books you read, the voices you follow, the stories you let influence you. It means making space for inspiration, for curiosity, for growth. We must also consider what nourishes the heart. Human connection is a form of nourishment. So is solitude. Sometimes we need conversation and laughter to feed our spirit. Other times we need silence and stillness. Nourishing your heart means giving yourself what you emotionally need without judgment. It might be calling someone who understands you. It might be journaling. It might be crying when the weight of the world feels too heavy. Emotional nourishment is about honoring your feelings and allowing them to exist without rushing to fix or silence them. Purposeful nourishment also asks us to slow down. It invites us to move through life with presence, to savor each bite of food, not just swallow it. To truly listen to the person speaking, not just wait for our turn to reply. To breathe deeply when we are overwhelmed, instead of pushing through the noise. In that slowing down, we begin to see that nourishment is all around using the beauty of a sunrise, the warmth of tea in our hands, the sound of music that stirs something deep within. When we are present, everything becomes richer, more meaningful, more alive. There is also a spiritual layer to nourishment. For some, it comes through prayer or meditation. For others, through nature, art, or quiet reflection. Whatever path brings you closer to your inner self, nourish it. Give it time. Give it space. We are not only physical beings, we are souls, craving connection, purpose, and peace. When we neglect that part of ourselves, we may function, but we do not flourish. Spiritual nourishment reminds us of who we are beyond the noise of the world. It centers us. When we commit to nourishing ourselves with purpose, we begin to see how interconnected everything is. The food we eat affects our energy. The thoughts we carry shape our reality. The people we surround ourselves with influence our self-belief. Every choice becomes a seed, and what we nourish will grow. When we become conscious of that, even the smallest habits start to take on deeper meaning. We begin to feed not just the body, but the whole being body, mind, heart, and soul. In a world that constantly demands our attention, the ability to disconnect has become a rare, almost revolutionary act. We live in a time where notifications buzz, screens beckon, and our lives are often lived in parallel to a digital world that pulls us away from the present moment. But true connection to ourselves, to our loved ones, to the world around us requires space. It requires moments of quiet, of stillness, of solitude. Disconnecting is not about rejection. It is about reclaiming what matters. It is about finding balance in the chaos and giving ourselves the grace to simply be without the pressure of doing or proving. When you disconnect, you give yourself the gift of presence. The constant buzz of notifications, the endless cycle of news, the overwhelming flood of of these things distract us from what is truly here, right in front of us. It's easy to get lost in the scroll, to mindlessly engage with things that don't nourish us or even matter. But when we consciously disconnect, we take a step back from the noise and make room for what is essential. We make room for clarity, for mindfulness, for genuine connection. The act of disconnecting doesn't need to be grand or dramatic. It can be as simple as turning off your phone for an hour, setting it aside during meals, or choosing not to check emails the moment you wake up. It can be about carving out a small chunk of time each day, whether it's a walk outside, a moment of meditation, or simply sitting in silence to be fully present in your own experience. It's not about denying the importance of technology or connection, but rather recognizing that we cannot be truly connected to the world if we are not first connected to ourselves. And in order to connect with ourselves, we must have moments where we are not distracted, overwhelmed, or pulled in 100 different directions. When you disconnect, you also give your mind the space it needs to reset. Constant stimulation, whether from work, social media, or the demands of daily life, can lead to burnout and mental fatigue. Your mind, like your body, needs rest. It needs moments to breathe, to process, to simply be. Disconnecting offers you a chance to step off the hamster wheel of constant activity and just be in the moment without the need to check something, accomplish something, or respond to something. It's about learning to be comfortable in silence and stillness, and in that space discovering that you don't need to be constantly doing in order to be valuable. This habit also allows you to reconnect with the people around you. When you're constantly checking your phone, even in the presence of loved ones, you are not truly there. you are divided. Disconnecting for short, intentional periods allows you to show up for those who matter most. It allows you to have conversations without distractions, to listen fully, to be present in a way that truly nurtures relationships. It's in these moments of connection that we remember the value of human interaction, how powerful a conversation can be when it's uninterrupted, how deeply a smile can touch us when we are not distracted by a screen. In our disconnected world, moments of solitude can become sacred. Disconnecting allows you to carve out time for yourself without feeling guilty or hurried. It allows you to rediscover the joy of just being without having to perform or produce. It's in these quiet moments that we can hear our inner voice, where our thoughts and feelings can rise to the surface without the constant bombardment of outside noise. It's where we can reflect, reset, and return to ourselves. We need this time to recharge, to ground ourselves, to remember who we are beneath all the roles we play. The more we practice disconnection, the more we realize how essential it is for our well-being. It becomes a form of self-care, quiet, necessary pause in a world that doesn't stop. Disconnecting isn't about rejecting the world around us. It's about choosing where we place our energy. It's about creating healthy boundaries and remembering that we don't have to be available at all times to everyone for everything. We can be present with what matters most, and in doing so, we create the space we need to grow, to heal, and to truly live. Sleep is often overlooked in the hustle and bustle of daily life, treated as a luxury rather than a necessity. We live in a world that celebrates productivity, where long hours and sleepless nights are worn as badges of honor. But the truth is, sleep is not just about rest. It is a vital component of well-being, creativity, and emotional resilience. When we prioritize sleep, we are not just allowing our bodies to recover, we are also giving our minds the chance to reset, to process, and to renew. Sleep with intention means recognizing the power of rest and treating it as a sacred part of our self-care routine. It's about understanding that sleep is not something to be done just because we are tired, but something we actively choose to honor for our overall health and performance. The first step is creating an environment that nurtures rest. Our sleep space should be a sanctuary, free of distractions and disturbances. The dim lighting, the cool temperature, the comfort of soft sheets, all of these things contribute to an atmosphere where rest can thrive. We often spend our days in overstimulating environments, so it's important to cultivate a space that encourages relaxation, where we feel safe and comfortable enough to let go. It is also important to establish a bedtime routine that signals to your body that it's time to wind down. Just as we have routines to start our days, we need rituals to end them. Whether it's reading a few pages of a book, drinking a cup of herbal tea, or simply practicing deep breathing, these small actions create a rhythm that helps ease the transition from wakefulness to sleep. Creating this routine is an act of respect toward yourself. It is telling your body, I see you. I know you need this time to recharge, and I will make it a priority. Sleep with intention also means listening to your body's natural rhythms. Many of us fight our body's signals, staying up late because of deadlines, technology, or social obligations, only to wake up feeling groggy and unfocused. But our bodies are intelligent. They communicate with us through feelings of fatigue, heaviness, or restlessness. Rather than resisting these natural cues, sleep with intention involves acknowledging and honoring your body's needs. If you feel tired, allow yourself the space to rest. If you are not sleepy, don't force sleep, but rather create an environment conducive to restfulness, allowing your body to find its natural rhythm. Beyond the physical need for rest, sleep is also deeply tied to mental and emotional health. When we sleep, our brains are busy processing the events of the day, sorting through memories, making connections, and even solving problems. Sleep enhances our cognitive abilities, improving concentration, creativity, and emotional regulation. Without enough sleep, our ability to focus diminishes and our mood becomes more volatile. We are more likely to feel stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed. By giving ourselves permission to sleep, we create the foundation for a clearer, more balanced mind. Sleep with intention is not just a passive state. It is a powerful force that restores balance to every aspect of our lives. Sleep also has a profound impact on our physical health. It supports immune function, regulates hormones, and helps with tissue repair and growth. Without enough rest, we are more susceptible to illness, chronic conditions, and even premature aging. Our physical vitality is deeply intertwined with our sleep, and when we neglect it, we risk compromising our health in the long term. Sleep should not be an afterthought. It should be as important as nutrition, exercise, and hydration. Another key aspect of sleep with intention is releasing the pressures of the day before you lie down. Our minds can often be filled with worries, stresses, or unresolved emotions, making it difficult to fall asleep. Developing the habit of letting go of these thoughts before bed is essential. This can be done through journaling, reflecting on the day's events, or even practicing mindfulness meditation. By releasing the weight of the day, you free yourself from the mental clutter that can prevent you from entering a restful state. When you sleep with intention, you also wake up with intention. You begin to see how deeply connected your rest is to your energy, focus, and overall happiness. Waking up feeling rested is not a luxury, it is a foundation for a life filled with clarity, vitality, and purpose. By embracing sleep as a tool for personal growth, we begin to cultivate a more balanced, peaceful, and empowered existence.